I had a rather interesting experience involving my friend's mother-in-law. It was something I never expected myself to do. Let me introduce myself. I'm Matt, a 26-year-old guy living in a rented apartment like a lot of other guys. My landlady is quite peculiar and has her own unique quirks. On the plus side, the rent is affordable considering the neighborhood. However, there are a few downsides, such as you can't have pets or bring girls to visit. Of course, I've never broken the rule about pets, but I've brought girls quite often. The joys of youth. One day, out of the blue, the landlady decided to exterminate cockroaches in the apartment without even warning me about it. I had no choice but to pack my things and leave. But where to go? In a panic, I called my best friend Jason, who kindly offered to let me stay with him temporarily while I looked for a new place to live. But there was a catch. Jason informed me that his wife had taken the kids to her aunt's house, and his mother-in-law would be staying with him to cook and keep an eye on things. When I arrived, my friend and I had a great time, enjoying each other's company and indulging in a drink. The next morning, Jason's mother-in-law, Emily, showed up, and I was amazed at her stunning appearance. Despite her 47 years, she looked no older than 33, just like Jason said she would. We were a little tipsy from the night before, so it was understandable that she looked at us strangely. However, Emily surprised us by bringing her own wine in a plastic bottle, and we were grateful for her concern. I showered her with compliments, and she smiled mischievously in return, hinting that I would still have a chance to express my gratitude. I didn't ponder her words for long, and instead decided to inquire about her marital status while she cooked. Unfortunately, Jason interrupted me, warning me not to bother her too much since she was already married. Soon, an appetizing aroma wafted from the kitchen, filling the air. Emily invited me to join her at the table. We ate a delicious meal and, naturally, drank her homemade wine. Jason went to bed and Emily and I stayed behind. Our conversation covered many topics, both deep and trivial. Suddenly, I felt Emily's unusual gaze on me. Without warning, she intervened in our conversation and asked, "Well, Matt, help me out, will you?" Without hesitation, I replied, "Sure, Emily, whatever you need." Together, we headed into the room where she sat down on the bed and beckoned for me to sit down next to her. As she got up and closed the door behind her, it dawned on me what kind of help she needed. I helped as much as I could. I didn't even go out for a smoke break. She was tiring me out. I had no energy. And that's how it happened. Surprisingly quickly, I found a new apartment. I didn't feel a pressing need to leave Jason's apartment, however, because I was fascinated by this woman. I longed to prolong our connection, if only for a little while longer. I could tell you a secret. She had a huge crush on me. Hay really liked my help in the bedroom. "Hi, my name is Jennifer. I am 45 years old, and I want to share with you a true story that I deeply regret. My husband and I were happily married for 25 years and raised 2 wonderful children. I took on all the household responsibilities while my husband earned a good income. We rarely fought, and our children, Michael and Amanda, grew up smart and excelled in school. It seemed that everything would always be perfect. However, our family's peaceful life was shattered when the economic crisis hit in 2008. My husband lost his job, and although he quickly found another one, it paid much lower. After much thought and advice from relatives, we made the difficult decision that I should start working. Despite my accounting background, I had not worked in the field, so we decided that I would get a job at the supermarket where my daughter's husband, Jason, worked. Jason, my son-in-law, assured me that he would take care of me. After a short interview, I was hired as a sales trainee with a probationary period. It was a rough start, but I adapted quickly and soon became an integral part of the team. I got along well with everyone except for a rude and obnoxious security guard named John. From day one, this scruffy and disheveled man seemed determined to do something bad. At first, while sitting at the cash register, I began to notice his stares. Eventually, he started winking and smiling mischievously. I preferred to ignore it until it gradually became a serious problem. Every chance he got, he pushed the boundaries, so to speak. Basically, he was doing everything he could to win over the woman he wanted, and that was me. I stopped going to the pantries because he was completely out of control. I knew from the frantic glint in his eyes that nothing and no one could hold him back. One night, the guard John pinned me against the counter, preventing me from escaping. Suddenly, out of nowhere, my brother-in-law Jason appeared. Somehow, he resolved the uncomfortable situation. He also assured me that if I had any more problems, I could come to his office and he would straighten things out. I was incredibly grateful to him for standing up for me, and now he won't let anyone hurt me. I also have no shortage of admirers. People often try to strike up a conversation with me on the street, and my husband's friends are simply fascinated by me. They exchange ambiguous looks when they see me in a t-shirt and shorts, which really annoys my husband Tom. One time, I even stayed on the night shift to prank him after our fight. I was arranging goods on the shelves, which is also a salesperson's duty when there are few customers around. Afterward, my brother-in-law Jason came up to me and suggested that I stop by his office for a light snack and some wine. At that point, I was very upset with my husband and wanted to take my mind off of it all, so I said yes. Although I had never been there before, I thought it would be a nice change of scenery. Jason seemed delighted and gracefully offered his arm, leading me toward his office. When we arrived, I admit I was stunned, as I hadn't expected this. Wine, sweets, and various snacks were arranged on the table. We made ourselves comfortable. The conversation started, and the atmosphere became incredibly romantic. It had been a long time since I had drunk so much wine. I suspect my brother-in-law had organized this on purpose. And as the wine began to take effect on us, we crossed a line beyond which we should never have been. Of course, I deeply regret it, and it was unfair to my husband, but what's done is done. My son-in-law and I have agreed that it will not happen again, and we will keep it strictly between us. My son-in-law to this day invites me to his office when I stay for the night shift. He gave me a second youth. I know it's wrong, but I can't go on without these meetings. My friends and I made a spontaneous decision to travel to the Maldives for a much-needed vacation. Unfortunately, my husband couldn't join us due to work commitments, so it was just me, my friend Jennifer, her husband Michael, and her younger brother Jason, who recently turned 23. The trip was going to be exciting as Jen, Michael, Jason, and I have been spending time together for a long time. We packed our suitcases with the idea that we would enjoy every moment and partake in all the fun activities the vacation had to offer. The flight went smoothly and without incident. From the airport, we were quickly transported to the hotel without incident. Upon arrival, we were accommodated in a luxurious room and were impressed with the excellent service with everything we needed. Our windows had a beautiful view, and the fridge was stocked with delicious food and refreshing drinks. Jen's younger brother, Jason, was incredibly kind to me. He took care of me, made sure I was comfortable, and showered me with compliments. I was very pleased, and my friend couldn't help but laugh and jokingly commented on my newfound admirer. I teased back, saying it was hard to resist being around such a charming young man. Jason was a smart and single guy who had recently finished his military service. Most importantly, he kept his eyes on me. It was then that I knew this vacation was going to be exciting. In the evening, I took a leisurely stroll along the beautiful beach, which was not crowded at all. We had dressed casually on purpose, and the local men couldn't help but notice us. If we had been alone, we would surely have been the center of attention. We enjoyed the unique scents and the warm, humid air. When we were tired in the evening, we indulged in drinks from the hotel bar. Jason, being young and sensible, suggested I take a walk to admire the night sea. I agreed, wanting to experience more of this amazing vacation. It was too early to go to bed, and Jen and her husband clearly wanted to be alone. Jason grabbed a bottle of wine from the bar and brought a cozy blanket. We headed to the beach, settled down on the Plaid, and enjoyed our drinks while chatting. It was a fantastic and unforgettable evening spent together. The rest of the vacation went quite predictably. Every evening, Jason and I would sneak off to the beach, seeking privacy away from prying eyes. One day, I called my husband, and we had a nice conversation. He apologized for not being able to join us and promised a little surprise when we got home. He planned to take me out to a restaurant, and I could relax and pamper myself while on vacation, which I happily did with Jason's help. My husband doesn't know yet that when I get back, I'm going to give him a big surprise, and it's going to be cheating with my best friend's brother. I hope my husband doesn't find out about my adventures on vacation.